Welcome back to Empowered and Out. I am your host, Jonathan, and today we're diving into a conversation that blends creativity, resilience, and authentic branding. Our guest, Joseph Federico, is a seasoned marketing maven with over 20 years of experience. He's the founder of J. Federico Marketing and anchors to Dusk Publishing, where he combines human centered strategy with witchy marketing wisdom and a love for storytelling. His career spans everything from MSNBC to Verizon, but today he's focused on coaching queer entrepreneurs, publishing horror novellas like the Voodoo Juice series, and empowering small business owners to shine without compromise. Joseph is also a proud advocate for the LGBTQ plus community, a self-proclaimed spooky season enthusiast, and the author of an upcoming witchy workbook, Mystic Marketing, Queer Magic and Modern Brandcraft. Today, we're unpacking everything from authentic branding to AI as your creative co-pilot to building resilience as a queer professional in a sometimes hostile space. So if you're a longtime listener or tuning in for the first time, I'm so glad that you are here. And Joseph, welcome to Empowered and Out. I am so glad that you are here.
Thank you so much. How are you today? Thanks for having me.
I am great. We had some behind the scenes craziness before we started recording, but hey, technology is what it is. And sometimes it works for you and sometimes
It does not.
it doesn't. Yeah. All right. So you coach queer professionals on
I
showing up
do.
authentically online without
Mhm.
diluting who they are, which I love. What does authentic branding really look like in practice?
Always focus on being human, number one. Focusing on that, focusing on your campaigns, but being strategic and not always utilizing AI. Assuring that you show up not only for yourself but for the community and allowing your flag to fly high. To be perfectly honest,
I
yeah.
love that. Can you share a moment when a client's authenticity actually helped them win opportunities instead of holding them back?
100%. So really, I'd say one of my newer clients, I've been with her about a year. Nancy Janung is a queer author of mine, a client of mine that's actually local, a few towns over, and I love spending time with her in person. But really, this past summer we had a book campaign running for her, a PR campaign in person. She was not a little, a lot afraid of getting on camera about a year ago. Prior to having me on board with her, and we assured that we worked on pushing through the fear at first and essentially, our last appointment, our last event was at Dismal Harmony here in Morristown, New Jersey. I pretty much, was on the periphery. I didn't really have to tell her what to do, what to say. She had her friends, and people were finding her on social media. And I would say, that was her most authentic self is showing up not only for the event but herself as an author, meeting the staff in which that they were hosting her, and they had a specialized cocktail, and it was really nice seeing her annual progress really come to the forefront at that event. So it was a proud dad moment, to be honest.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, it is true. Like being your authentic self it really helps you shine.
It
When
does.
people try to hide behind it, it really can hurt you more than help
Yeah.
you.
It can. It can, especially if you go like forth with fear. It could be really detrimental for your progress and for your own self. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So you talk about selling without selling. That's a refreshing take, especially in a space where selling often feels gross. How do you teach small business owners or authors to create content that converts without feeling forced?
So it's really all about like dropping breadcrumbs as to, in regards to what you're selling. Could be a book, could be services, could be products, could be events, could be coaching. Stay on people's minds because, social media is very passive, you
Mhm.
know, of course. And we're so inundated with all these quote unquote influencers on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. Everyone is pushing something, is
Mhm.
shoveling something, right? We have to break through the noise, stop the scroll, and drop those little hints, 1 to 3 plus more times a week on all the platforms. So they all sound conducive, all sound the same, uniform, it's all in humanity, full stop. drop the mic, full transparency. So selling without selling, like everyone's again pushing something, and it really is time, or what I coach and what I specialize in is allowing people to sell without selling, is dropping those breadcrumbs and reminders of who they are, but offering some tools along the way, and some free services or products, or just behind the scenes to keep people engaged, just long term. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, and it's funny just because for someone obviously who is constantly promoting myself as well, just not just the podcast, but also in my coaching, I get it. You have to be showing multiple things, and you have to be kind of, like you said, the breadcrumbs, because
Constantly. Yeah.
people definitely know when you're selling or you're trying to get, like if you and I are trying to get a client, it's obvious. If we really, you can make it really obvious and is, gross. Like it's like, okay, they're obviously trying to sell some, they're trying to get us as a client. Why should we go
Yeah.
with them? I mean, you have to prove, in a way, you have to prove yourself. But second, you have to, it's great to have previous clients or customer, whoever it might be, or in my case, even some like guests to say, hey, you
Right.
really should check out this podcast, or you really should look into maybe even being a guest on the podcast because it was a
Mhm.
really fun time or whatever, but it's, yeah, you have to really, I get it. The breadcrumbs. I like it. And the authenticity, because you can tell when people are
Yes, to be
selling, but you
authentic.
also can tell when they're trying to make it too perfect.
Yeah, which is again not to knock the influencers and the retailers and sellers on the TikTok, for instance. But again, we're so inundated by people, unboxing videos and tapping products and like, I don't really care. Who are you as a human? How are you going to solve my problems or heal my inner child or help me with my coaching and my health, whatever you specialize in, how are you gonna help me?
Yeah.
And honestly, COVID completely knocked marketing on its head. Long gone are the days, that, we are looking for influencers,
Yeah.
COVID completely changed that.
So, what's one piece of low hanging fruit, something people could change today that would instantly make their social posts feel less like a sales pitch?
Get on camera and honestly, be messy as hell. That's
Yeah.
that's where I started. I mean, I've been in the industry and, the overarching industry, of course, being marketing PR, but I was in, news and I was at Verizon and big tech and, and even book publishing. So I'd say push through the fear. Number one, get yourself on camera years and years and years ago. Before Instagram was reels and, stories and like even static images, there was a thing called IGTV, is Instagram
Oh, yes.
television.
Yeah, I
And that
remember that.
was like short lived. And that's right before COVID hit. And then it came and went and evolved very quickly, which I'm kind of grateful for, to be honest, with my past and my evolution, my coaching. I had low metrics, 6 to 8% in viewership, followership. I got myself on camera. It was messy as hell. I was nervous. It was right before COVID hit, like February 2000, and I was writing scripts in my car after work. It was dark. I didn't have any lights on. I was stuttering. I was robotic, oohs, ums, and ahs. And I had called this program Quick Quippy Marketing. And I was like, people have to learn and hear about marketing. And it sucked. It was like miserable. It was like 9, 10, 11 minutes. And we could have posted that long, on the platform at that time with IGTV.
Yeah.
My metrics and my followership grew 300% in 6 days just by
Wow.
getting myself on camera. As crappy as it was, that was the real start of my coaching evolution, to be honest. So yeah,
Well, and what you did, you took the messy action, and I've learned this even as a coach.
yeah,
You take the
yeah,
messy action, even if it's ugly as anything, and like you said, get in front of the camera because it's more relatable. If you try to make it too perfect, people are like, I don't know. Even if you might have the best product on the planet,
right,
if it looks goofy and stupid and weird, well, maybe not weird, but if it looks, goofy, whatever, that's more relatable. And people are going to
yeah,
go, okay, well, Joseph was talking about this. Maybe I should really try it. That actually sounds really interesting. And now I'm going to start following him because I can relate. And I remember even when I years ago was constantly trying to do social media posts. And I will admit, I hated being in front of the camera, but I realized that that's when it needed to happen, is because
yeah,
people want to see
yeah,
you. They don't want to see the constant posts. And I know you and I both do it on LinkedIn. We both put like just posts a lot of
yeah,
times, but that's
You
also
have to.
kind of platform. We know that obviously Instagram, TikTok, other platforms, the video is obviously more prevalent, and you need to be doing more videos on those.
Sure. Sure.
But yeah, I think you said it perfectly. The messy action, the taking the action right away, and even if
Behind the scenes, even going, spending that 3 to 5 minutes, because that's how long it takes me to walk from my home downtown to work with another client, that runs, 2 small businesses. It's a shipping store. And I can whip out the phone, talk about marketing in less than 5 minutes, and I can come home and make the edits later, put the closed captioning, which is important. That's a whole different
yes,
conversation or episode. But I'm like, here's my check-in. I have messy hair and I didn't shave today, but I'm sweating and I'm telling you how to run your business, or just checking in with you as your coach. And even if I'm not your coach, I'm checking in with you as a human being, as
yeah,
a member of the queer community. Hey, what the hell are you up to? I'm nervous today and I'm telling you why, but we'll get through it together. That's how this has to happen.
yeah,
That's how it does happen. And even another success story with a, they're an ally of the queer community. Again, that, shipping location is, has have become great friends. And we had an event, a car show with the Morris County Historical Society back in April. And they were one of the sponsors at the show, at the vendor location. And people just walked up to, his name's Jonathan, and they had said, I know you from where, your Instagram, because of your videos. You're the hi there guy. And that's his claim to fame since his starting with me. So again, it's just about, you have to push through the fear. And marketers out there make it way too complicated. Well, here's the download and here's this and here's that. No, start from square one.
I love that. So you've been an early adopter of AI in marketing and coaching. How do
Mhm.
you see AI as a creative partner instead of a replacement?
It sparks additional interests. It sparks a lot more creativity that I've seen the past few years with AI. But as you had said, you and I both post long form, most likely a little bit of AI produced content on LinkedIn.
Really? No.
No, no, but if people are saying that they don't post, through AI, they are lying. I'm calling it out now. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, and don't get mad at me because we all use it as marketers, right? And in the community. So a lot of my success and a lot of my new clients actually have also derived from by using AI through LinkedIn as well as with the imagery. So you have to adopt, you have to adapt, you have to but put the human element back into it. Really, the word of the day, like on Pee-wee's Playhouse, or the secret word is humanity. Is put that back into your content, your imagery, and don't always rely on it. It's not a crutch, or
Right.
it shouldn't be a crutch, mind you. So yeah.
Well, and you can tell, I mean, I can definitely see when it's definitely AI. I mean, you can
Mhm.
see it, and it's kind of like, that's not even your voice. Like, especially me now that I've interviewed a bunch of different people, I can tell that's not them talking.
That's not, no,
It's not
no.
them talking because if I can have a 45-minute conversation or more, I know what their voice sounds like and I've been seeing their content. So if all of a sudden they flip, it's like, yeah, you
But
probably need to go back.
But here's the messy part, right? Most people, most marketers, most business owners, and most members of the community, and because of the way we were raised and in society and the trauma, I mean, let's call it what it is. Most people don't know their own voice or even where to begin. And
True.
and and that's where somebody like me would come in.
So how do you coach clients to keep their voice and their ethics front and center when using tools like AI?
Live, honestly, live coaching, either in person or travel or on Zoom or FaceTime or Google Meet. But it really starts with a questionnaire where I assure that before a client even comes on, you're interested, you have the investment, great. You want to work with me? Are you queer or an ally? Check all the boxes. Then, okay, you have to legally tell me, before we move forward over email, I would like X, Y, and Z package investment. But then you get a questionnaire and you have to look in the mirror about an 8 to 13 questionnaire from me and my business and say, who do you want to emulate? What do you want to sound like? And you have to do a little bit of research, before even getting through to me for the final interview and the final investment contract. And then once I then do my homework, I do my due diligence and reviewing all that, not putting it through AI, literally working hours on one persona, one personality, one fear, one
Mhm.
whoever that client may be and where they are categorized as, or as, which it takes the work. It takes work, mind you. And then we just do real-time practicing on our coaching sessions every week for 6 months and beyond. I mean, I've had clients for like an upwards of 5 or 6 years that have been rolling clients that still come to me for their coaching every week. And we have a time slot, an hour a week with over 10 clients just for coaching alone and assuring that that fear is removed. We work on that. And if there's a backslide or, what have you, then we work even harder on the next coaching session.
I love that. So, LGBTQ plus creators often deal with bias and suppression on social platforms, as we know.
Mhm. Sure.
What strategies do you teach so queer professionals aren't at the mercy of algorithms?
Again, this is a really simple answer. It's authenticity. Not using as many hashtags, not talking about maybe your orientation or sexuality um so broadly or in anyone's face, but that's not to hide who they are. Actually, it allows them to become more of themselves while they're speaking and playing in favor of themselves and their authenticity rather than to the algorithm.
Well,
And I've seen it myself over the
yeah.
past few months. So yeah.
Well, and I think that being your authentic self and I think removing, I would say, kind of some of those layers helps people relate a little bit more. And then
Sure.
also, it's great that you're a queer professional, but that's not all of who you are.
No.
And I
No.
think that that can hinder more than help you.
Sure.
At least I think so.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, yes, I'm a queer professional and I'm a queer coach, but I also sing. There's other things that I do that make me, and I have a partner. Like there's more things, it makes me a more rounded person. If you just say, I'm a queer professional, okay,
Yeah.
I'm a gay male, okay, great. So
And you're
what?
human.
And you're human, yeah.
Period. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So we touched a little bit. We both kind of jokingly said talking about LinkedIn, but so you've led programs that drove millions of organic impressions on LinkedIn, which
I
is
did.
awesome, by the way.
Thank you very much.
What do most professionals get wrong about LinkedIn, and what's the key to making it work for queer thought leaders?
I mean, especially when I worked at Verizon, that was like 60 plus hours a week. That was
Ooh,
growing the executive persona program. That was assuring people actually cared about social media when social media wasn't really a big deal back then. And I can say this because I'm way out of contract years and years and years ago. Nobody cared to even utilize a tool such as LinkedIn or social media whatsoever. So they wanted to sell and sell and sell. And I'm like, look,
mm.
I may be new to the tech world, but I'm not new to PR, marketing, social media, all the things, right? And I had to sit down with a lot of these executives, these like millionaire, people sitting in the golden towers, and I'm like, you're gonna fail, not because of me, because you want to sell too often or too much. And I had to bring the theme of the show, humanity, the human element, the persona into the branding, into not only their LinkedIn, but also with their Twitter, tweet chats and live events and, all the things. I guess like short answer really is just human, being human. And that's why we had such immense success with those metrics over a year, year plus at a place like Verizon, because I had to stop and I had to think for myself, but then also had to lead these these people who were just lost. So
So if someone listening or viewing, since I am
mhm.
now on YouTube, feels too small to build thought leadership, where should they begin?
Niche down your interests. Number one, do the homework. Don't go to ChatGPT. Don't go to OpenAI. Don't go to any social media platforms. Just cut it right there and go and do your research, what your niche offerings are or your niche interests, and then find evidence that people are talking about said topics. And maybe like start with maybe 10 as you do the homework and you progress and you learn more, become less naive. Put the time in, right? Put your phone down and research. And then you whittle it down to maybe like 5 or 6, another month or 2 later or so, 3 main interests, and then assure that people are talking about that. Then you go to your platforms. Go to your LinkedIn, you go to your TikTok, you go to your Instagram, you go to your Facebook, and then you just dig deeper. And then you start following people in that community, start asking questions. And that's a method to my madness is truly putting in the work. And there's no excuse not to in this day and age. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, let's be real. How did I figure out what I wanted to do on my podcast? I did research. How did I know what I wanted to talk about? I did my research.
Mhm.
I go and I listen to other podcasts. I listen or I watch other podcasts to see, oh, maybe I could integrate that into my podcast. Oh,
Mhm,
you did
mhm.
this in my coaching. Maybe I can talk about this on my podcast
Or
and
even
get a,
LinkedIn.
or even
Yeah.
LinkedIn. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think I like how you said, like, don't go to the AI, don't go to the social media platforms, go and just do your research. And I think that's research is
But
key
but
to
here's
really
why,
your
because
success.
there's yeah, there's I mean, there's too much noise. That
Yeah.
go on your computer or subscribe to, you know, a local newspaper or the New York Times or the Harvard Business Review, something that is substantial that you can
Mhm.
learn from. Do the research. And in my experience and opinion, like 90% of pros out there, even on LinkedIn, and I'm probably going to get flack for this, I couldn't care less because they're not putting in the work and they're trying to sell. Well, I have free tips for you and sign up for my newsletter. No, no. What are your interests? Do the homework. What are people talking about? Then you dig deeper and spend more time. And you should be a forever learner. There should be no stopping.
Oh,
Period.
yeah. I agree with you 100%.
Ever, ever. And I'm 42 and I'm like, oh, I'm still learning about the business,
Well, we
So
should
for
always be
instance,
learning. We should always be educating
always
ourselves
be
and learning
learning,
and
always be
researching.
learning.
Yeah. There's no excuse. If you stop
No,
doing it, then you're not wanting to grow and you're not wanting
no,
to be better. So, yeah.
correct, correct.
So, a lot of our listeners have faced discrimination or toxic workplaces. What mindset tools do you share with your clients to help them pitch themselves and lead with confidence in spite of those challenges?
I think I know that it takes, taking a step back first and reassessing, what may have happened to you in the past. Fortunately for me, that has not happened in my career space. But a few of my clients have experienced that. Even, my clients in Florida, my clients even right down the street, as part of our community, not that our community, because I'm
Yeah.
part of that community. Just reevaluate and go forth with gumption and really give yourself permission to take up space in that space on social media, in the workplace. And again, back to the last answer we had just discussed, do your homework and assure that you're in a safe space, but also again, just have gumption. And really just assure that you take up space, period. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, for someone who helps my clients like help find their purpose and rebuilding their
Mhm.
confidence, as we know the job market's nasty, but what is one small daily habit that can help rebuild confidence for those listening after being knocked down?
I would say something that has helped me through therapy as well as my business coaching is gratitude, is a gratitude journal. Start every day with gratitude and knowing your worth, taking up space, and then you should be going forward from there, honestly.
I love that. And I haven't done it so much on this podcast, but I did on my last one talking about gratitude and having a
Yeah,
gratitude
yeah,
journal. And
yeah.
something as simple as, hey, I woke up again today. Oh, hey, guess what? I get to drink clean water. I get to
Mhm.
have a cup of coffee.
Right,
There's so many things that we take for granted. And I
right.
think gratitude journals, oh my gosh, I think every single person should have a gratitude journal.
It's big. It's
It's
life changing.
very big. Yeah. So let's talk about starting your own business. For someone listening who's thinking about taking that leap, what's the biggest lesson from your journey that you'd want them to hear?
Think big. Go in the opposite direction of which people are actually doing. If your idea is oversaturated, think outside the box, but also think big. Think as big as you possibly can. You have time to whittle it down. Once you then do the research and you do the homework, then you can build your persona. Then you can then do the fun stuff, the logo, website, offerings, classes, courses, whatever that may be, funnels, whatever gets you to have a full-time income. I've certainly been through the ringer myself, and I'm sure you have as well,
Yes.
as
Yeah,
as creators, as members of the career community, as marketers, as coaches. But just think big, and then you have time to whittle it down. But you have to put in the time and the homework in order to do so.
for sure. Yeah. So, was there a turning point when you realized that you just had to do this for yourself with your own business?
Percent. I mean, so I hit the year mark, and I've been doing this for many years overall, like the overarching, PR marketing, social media guy in one form or another for over 20 years. But when the job market here in the States over a year ago just had me down and out, and I was hitting fatigue, going to other states to interview and nothing would stick. AI would get in the way or people would ghost. I was overqualified, underqualified, this, that. I mean, just excuses beyond belief. And I'm like, I have 20 plus years experience to fall back on, working for major corporations, working within my community. And the universe just gave me no other choice. It said, you have to make this full time, create your own salary, create your own schedule, work on your health. You're not getting any younger, and you can live the life you deserve that you worked 20 plus years on for, about, and for the community. And then, but as I worked, evolved from therapy, with my business coach, and I started to whittle down my niche was everyone needed marketing. Now it's especially now, as you've seen from my LinkedIn content, all
Mhm.
across my socials, and I really attempt to and work hard on keeping all those platforms pretty uniform in messaging. Length varies because of the platforms and the
Right.
stipulations, but I mean it's been a journey, and then that was whittled down into really being a voice for and of the queer community, hands down. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when
I had no
I
choice.
yeah, I get it 100% because even when I got into coaching, I initially was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna be a career coach." Okay, well, that's great, but you need to niche down. And then I kept thinking and I kept researching, and I was like, okay, we're helping the community. We're helping the queer community because allies, just because such a marginalized community, so many struggles, so many different
Sure.
unique individuals that are probably going to need help to show how to be themselves, but also how to feel comfortable in the workplace. And then
Exactly.
even more recently, I niched down to help clients with finding their purpose because so many people have wanted to change positions because they may not have felt comfortable in a job. So finding that purpose, but then also, like we briefly just talked about, like rebuilding that confidence because so many people are being shot down from the ghosting, or they get losing complete confidence when you're constantly getting ghosting from after employer after employer after employer, which by the
Ugh.
way, companies out there, you suck. That is not, that's the most unprofessional thing you could ever do.
Is all the above, the ghosting, saying you're not good enough, and I've heard it all. And
Yeah.
then what really broke it for me, broke the camel's back, was I was looking into hiring recruiters because I'm like, I can do it on my own, but I'm like, I'm dog tired.
Yeah.
This is getting depressing and it's affecting my health. So I looked into hiring another local recruiter, and he had over 40 years experience in recruiting. And he looked at my resume, looked at my LinkedIn, my requirements for my salary, my history, and he said, "You're doing nothing wrong." He said, "Your salary is where it should be. Your background is exceptional." And I'm not blowing smoke, like
Yeah.
another person had affirmed this,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me. And he said, "Stop looking for work." He literally said, "Stop look. It's terrible out there. It's all AI. Nobody's hiring. It's all a bunch of hocus pocus, right?" He said, "You need to make your business full time." And that was at a time where I was just about to leave my last part to full time position, and it was all promises and,
Yeah.
whatever. It was all a bunch of BS. And I was like, well, if this person's, a voice of a voice of reason, a voice of the universe, then I have to follow through on that. So yeah, and companies suck. I mean, they will have you wait for months on end, just waiting and hoping and praying and wishing that you're gonna move, and then I'm like, the universe is endless, god damn
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? Like, I could create a future for myself, for my partner, for my future children or not,
Yeah.
traveling, marketing, working on movie sets, going to where I thrive the most, which is in Louisiana, New Orleans, and work on marketing books and thrive. And in corporate America, that just wasn't the case for me by any means. Yeah.
All right. So you and I joked about this before we started recording because I've brought it up once and it's again in at the end of this recording, which is funny, but for some odd reason, there was no question. So let's
Huh.
talk about your upcoming witchy workbook, Mystic Marketing, Queer Magic, and Modern Brandcraft. So what drew
Yeah.
you to create this?
Again, putting in the work, and I love Halloween. I love horror, spooky season, but the queer community has always been attracted to that realm, to that sub community, right? To
This
that
is
that way
very
of life.
true. Oh my gosh, I have friends who are so obsessed with it. Yes, with
And it's
Halloween season.
not just about a season, it's about something internally, something mystic, something
Yeah,
something exceptional that the community really does have. And not only going to prides, but talking with my clients and assuring that their lights shine struck a chord with me through also business coaching. And I'm, going through ideas, not just for a quick book. This isn't about I mean, yes, it's about business, about money,
yes.
but there's not a mystical, magical marketing workbook on the market right now that shares my experiences, especially the last 3 to 4 years when I went to Florida and I had this exceptional experience of straddling two worlds. When I got back and I realized I had some more magic within me to share with becoming more of a success for myself, but also for the community. And it blends stories from my travels across the US with my clients, with myself, and also becoming more human and becoming more comfortable with yourself. And I drop the marketing breadcrumbs along the way that, create a workbook style environment in which you can download or print or share with your friends, and it will equate to success. But as we said earlier, about 30 minutes ago, you have to put in the work. And this is
Yep.
a workbook to assure you stay on track. You work through your campaigns and you really find your magic within. With a little, mysticism, a little magic, a little sexiness, through people in which I had hired to model as my as my witch persona,
Yeah.
And he's like the little remember those sing-alongs, back in the day on VHS,
Oh
and the
yeah,
words
yeah,
would pop up and the little head would go. And
yeah.
so this gentleman from Australia is actually my magical witch that is sharing his experiences as well. So
Awesome.
I'm really excited, and it's coming out in a few weeks before Halloween.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
it sounds fun, but it's perfect because I think one of the ways, even for me personally, to be successful, I like the step by steps. I like workbooks. I like showing me what I need to do. What can I do to be successful? What are the steps I need
sure,
to take? And I like that because if people have had the successes, there's a reason they're talking about. There's a reason they probably wrote a book or a workbook or whatever, or have
sure.
a TED talk or a podcast, or whatever. And I like that this is a great way for people to learn
Yeah,
and to be able to, they don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, what did that say again? Oh, here, wait, I got it right here. I can see, okay, that's what the last step was. This is what I need. This is the
correct.
next page. And I like that you don't have to question and go, oh my gosh, why didn't I record that? Or why didn't I write notes on that? And now you're going to be able to have that
To
right
do
there.
that,
So yeah,
but it allows people to stop, like, in their tracks,
awesome.
find their humanity, find their magic, take another step back, and then you proceed accordingly with caution. But I also expose my truth and myself, as a leader, as a coach, as a marketer, as a publicist. And I share those really personal stories with the audiences who will be investing in this project, in this labor of love, in this spell book as well. So yeah.
Well, this has been so much fun. But
I
before
know.
I let you
Time
go,
flies.
before I let you go, I have on every episode I have with my guests rapid fire questions.
Oh boy.
And
Okay.
so I mean, you've been very quick to answer, so this should be good
Sure.
because I've had some guests that thinking a little too much on an answer. And I don't think you're going to have a problem because number one, how I really found you, even just in general, was a podcast. Like I actually watched,
Yeah.
watch you on it. So I know that
Yeah.
you know how to answer a question quickly. And
Sure.
so here goes. So what's your go-to spooky season ritual that always sets the vibe for fall?
2 weeks leading up to Halloween, my partner and I watch all the Halloween movies with
Oh, nice.
the character of Michael Myers, and we light a candy corn or fall autumnal candle, and we watch those leading up to the season.
I love that. I really do. That's awesome.
Yeah,
All right. If LinkedIn had a magic spell button, wouldn't we wish it did?
I know.
What would you want it to do for you?
Immediately filter new clients into my funnel so I can set up calls with them and then have them sign on immediately as well as a client.
Amen. I am right there with you. My gosh, yes.
Because it's a process, but if that could be one button, then please, yes.
Yes, please. Yeah. All right. Coffee, tea, or something witchier when you're writing?
Hot tea.
Do you have a particular, like, flavor that you like with tea?
Let's say something dark and moody, something red, something mystical and magical. Probably a Tazo tea.
All right.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna actually add a name into this mix because we just talked about it, but if you could market any horror icon, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, Dracula, who would you pick and why?
I would say Jason because he's the most misunderstood.
That is really true. He really is. All right. So, Joseph, if someone is listening or watching and they're struggling to show up authentically online,
Hmm.
what's one piece of advice you'd give them to start shifting today?
Throw your shoulders back and take up space and know that your voice is necessary. Period.
I love that. I mean, the consistency, the showing up, the looking at yourself, the doing the research. There's so
It's
many
not
great
hard.
things. No, it's not
It's
hard at
not
all.
hard.
No, it's not hard. It's so funny because people, if you just do the work, it's going to make life so much easier just getting going. And
Everyone, yeah.
yeah. And then if we've already said it, you and I both agree, like messy action, taking the action. It doesn't matter. Like just do it because you're going to
Be
be
human. Be human.
human. Yeah, 100%. So this has honestly been such an inspiring and rich conversation, Joseph.
Same here. Thank you so much.
We've touched on everything from authentic branding to AI to having confidence in what it takes to put yourself out there as a queer professional.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on. I really do.
My pleasure.
And
Thanks for having.
it's been so much fun. So, for those listening, if you're craving deeper alignment and want to infuse a little magic into your marketing, as we said, we just briefly just talked about this, Joseph's witchy workbook, Mystic Marketing, Queer Magic, and Modern Brandcraft is coming out soon. He's also opening one-on-one coaching spots for creatives, authors, and small business owners who want to show up online in a way that feels intuitive, confident, and powerful. You can connect with Joseph through J. Federico Marketing and Anchors to Dusk Publishing. And we'll have all of his links in the show notes because, of course, we do. And so, but also, listeners and viewers, be sure to rate, review, and share this episode with a friend who needs to hear it. And of course, hit that subscribe button so you will never miss another episode of Empowered and Out. So until next time, stay empowered, stay out, and keep showing up authentically, building the brand and career that reflect your true magic.
Cool. Hey, that was great.